We went to the parks, the Disney, Universal. We had the OC night markets, Megacon Orlando. And then as usual, I always have last minute things that pop up. And literally because I have a new pop-up in San Diego. Look who joined us. Hi, Haru. Can you wave to everybody? Good boy. Good boy. Hi guys, welcome back to another Emii Creations vlog, and today we're going over a recap of May 2022. So for those not familiar, my name is Emily. I run a small business called Emii Creations selling merchandise of my own art. And every month we have one video that goes over what has happened the last month, going over what my business has been up to, some sales numbers, and then at the end of the video we will go over a little bit of what we're looking forward to for June 2022 as well. So this last month was very show heavy. I had an event almost every weekend, and I actually got COVID at not one of the shows, but we went to, me and my husband and a friend of ours, we went to the parks, the Disney, Universal parks in Florida, and I'm pretty sure we got COVID there. So if I sound a little off, that's probably why. So the COVID strain we got was actually a milder strain in my opinion. It was very upper respiratory, a lot of coughing, a lot of prolonged coughing, and just feeling fatigued and stuff like that. So we're definitely getting over it slowly, and it also derailed some of my event plans. So we'll go over that and how I was able to adapt. But first, the first 2 weeks of last month, May 2022, we had the OC night markets. The first two OC night market happened in May 6th to 8th and then May 13th to 15th. So for the first event, I personally was not able to go because I had to go to a wedding, but Cricket did go for me. We set up together and then we broke down together, but Cricket was there for the duration of the event, so props to them for being such a trooper, handling that for me. So it's definitely been a while since I've done the OC night markets, and some of my displays have changed a little bit, and we had a little bit of issues with wind that time. So we were in the pavilion, my booth specifically, so we weren't necessarily outside. It might have been better if we were outside, since I usually have a full tent set up when I'm outside, which blocks some of the wind. But because we were in the pavilion and it was open on both ends, there was kind of like a funneling wind effect going through the whole area. So a lot of my displays had issues withstanding that. So for the first one, we handled it with weights, sand weights specifically. And then the next event, I actually brought the skeleton of my tent to help regulate things from flying around. And we brought sandbags for each leg of my tent setup, and then we put the shirts on there, and then we clipped the shirts down so they weren't flopping around like crazy. But it was definitely a scary event because it kept, the original display we had kept wobbling, and then I was afraid it was going to fall, and I think it almost did fall one time, which is why we decided to change the setup for the next weekend. But all in all, it was a great 2 weekends. We did really well at the second one. So I was really happy with that. So yeah, the second one had a better crowd, a better setup. I was there for more of the event. And just as a recap, the night market is at night, but they did change the hours a little bit for this year. I think it started around like 1 or 2 and it went all the way to 11. So the hours were really long this year. I do hope they change it back to the 3 o'clock start, but we'll have to see how that goes. So then the next weekend, May 20 to 22, was Megacon Orlando. So this is where we went to Florida. I did go a little early to enjoy the parks, which I slightly ended up regretting, so this is what happened. We landed on Monday, went to the parks for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then set up Thursday. I think Thursday had the first day, it was like a half day, and then got COVID on Friday or Saturday, and then I packed up the moment I realized we were sick, and then I didn't do the last day of the event because I didn't want to get people sick. So that was a bummer. We did manage to break even for the show, so that's good. And Megacon specifically had record attendees and people were really awesome. We had a weird spot, so I think that did affect some of our sales. But overall, I think it was a good event. I was able to meet up with some longtime customers and chat with them, so it was awesome. It was just a real bummer that we did get sick, and even on Saturday, I was feeling really crummy and I could not focus. I could barely talk, so I was like, we have to get out of here. There's no way. I don't want to like keep coughing on people. We weren't really sure it was COVID until we did the test that night, and I was like, oh dang. I don't think we should have even gone on Saturday, but I didn't realize it was that bad until we got there. But it is what it is. It wasn't a very super bad strain of COVID, which is nice. But yeah, it did cause us to end early and not be there the last day, which is a real shame. But hey, having a 2-day, technically 2.5-day show and breaking even is still great for me. So I was happy with that. And then after Megacon, we were supposed to come back and do the double show, Fanime and the Bay Area Night Market. Hey guys, so quick update. I actually got COVID from Megacon. So unfortunately, I will not be going to my next weekend shows, but I am on my way Thursday morning driving all my stuff to Cricket because Cricket will be going to Fanime for me. So I'm transferring the goods to them and they should be able to get set up today and then be there this weekend. So that was an unfortunate twist and turn, but we kind of made it work and I'm kind of happy for the break. Well, I did have to end up renting an SUV for Cricket to drive all the stuff up there, and that totaled almost, with gas and the fees, I think it totaled to $900, which was an extra cost I did not anticipate originally. So that kind of sucked. And then paying a helper cost and paying for freight, it just added up and it was slightly a bummer, but we actually didn't make back the cost of going there. I think we were like $200 short, which is not bad by any means, considering how much it took for us to get there. But regardless, I was still really happy to go because Fanime is one of those events where you kind of have to sign up at the event for next year or else you're gonna be on a wait list for forever. I think I've been on the Fanime wait list for 2 or 3 years, so getting in was exciting for me. And then be able to sign up and do it again next year is also exciting for me. Hopefully you guys come out to Fanime next year. We'll definitely be having the big 10x10 again next year. In a new location though, but still there. And then as usual, I always have last minute things that pop up. And literally because I have a new pop-up in San Diego. So for those familiar with my open markets little space, it's kind of the same concept where we pay for the space and then we pay a little bit in commission. It's considered consignment and they sell for you. You just have to restock whenever your stuff runs out, and then you get like a check at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. So the company is called Adore Boutiques and they have, I think, 4 or 5 locations in the San Diego area. The one I am at specifically opened on June 1st, so it's their newest little location and it's in Carlsbad Premium Outlets, and I'm renting a 7x7 foot floor space. And it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise not going to Fanime because I was actually able to set up my pop-up during the Fanime weekend. And you're like social distancing from people, and so we masked up and we were able to set up within like half an hour and then get out of there quick. to avoid contaminating people, but that worked out really well. We definitely had to do that because the opening came up really fast, June 1st, and we actually signed up for the space middle of May because I make crazy last minute decisions. So Adore reached out to me on Instagram. They're like, hey, are you interested in signing up with us? And I was like, oh, cool, I'll check it out. I liked the location of the mall or the outlet, and I was like, okay, I'll come back for when they have their vendor tours. Checked out the booth space, I really liked it. Signed up for a 6-month lease right there and then. Usually what happens is if you don't sign up there and then, your space will likely get taken, and if you decide to do it later on, you might not have a very good space, and that kind of stuff really does affect your sales. And if this goes well, the exciting part is they do have like 3 other locations. So definitely a lot of potential to expand and grow with Adore, which is always exciting. So that covers all the craziness that went on last month. It was definitely very hectic with the sickness and all of that, but I'm very lucky to have Cricket as my helper to help me get through a lot of those issues. Sales numbers this month was sadly a little painful because my costs were pretty insane. Let's go over the numbers specifically. I made $16,000 in sales, which is awesome if you think about it. Like, I actually sold that much stuff. That's awesome, right? But it's not awesome because I only took home about $5,000 of that because of all the costs, plane tickets, gas, travel, Airbnb, hotels, a booth cost, helper cost, merch cost, I could go on. So just as a perspective of how all that cost lays out, 13,000 of the sales were from shows, but only 2,000 of the take home was from shows. So I literally accrued like $11,000 in cost of all of that I mentioned before. Very painful, but it is what it is. We did make decent from wholesale this month, which kind of helped us out a little bit. So 2K of that was from wholesale and the rest was from my pop-up and online and stuff like that. And you know, I do have to take it with a grain of salt. I did get sick and have to hire helpers and up my costs exponentially, but we made it. We still were able to go to most all the shows I wanted to go to and sign up for, and did decently well. And I'm recovering very well, so it definitely could have been worse. I am going to take the wins as wins. So thank you everybody who went to the shows and saw me or Cricket there, and thank you for supporting me because you guys are amazing for being able to bump my sales numbers up that high this month, and I'm definitely not feeling anything but thankful and humbled by that. So, and then a quick last note of what's going on for June. June has taken a little bit of a breather, which I totally needed. We will be doing another OC night market, and then at the end of this month I will be having my double event at the 626 night market in Arcadia and at Anime Expo. So for those in the OC/LA area, be sure to check us out there. Cricket will be going to the night market and I will be at Anime Expo in the Artist Alley. Also next month I will be doing, I'm already starting, some new merchandise drawing. I'm kind of behind on that because of the sickness and the fatigue, but I am well on my way to making some new stickers and a few new greeting cards. So look forward to that. I'll hopefully get that out and get that sent to all my manufacturers, but let's cross our fingers for that. Anyways, thank you for sticking along with me on this vlog. I was kind of a little all over the place. I still got a little bit of COVID brain and coughs. Thank you for joining me and Haru on this vlog. It's always a pleasure to do these for you guys, and hopefully you guys like it. And if you do like our videos, be sure to like and subscribe. We're so close to the 1,000 subscriber counts to get our videos monetized, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully that will be something we will be able to celebrate for this year. Regardless, I look forward to talking to you guys again in the next vlogs. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy.